Hello, I'm Azai. Welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. Just came back from my daily cycling session. It was pretty good. I'm halfway done towards Tour de Zwift, which is a campaign they're doing. I think this is the first year that they have this sort of campaign. After that, I did another 20 kilos on my bike. But alright, after that, took a shower, and here I am. Back to play some more Grisaia. Feeling a bit more productive today than usual on a weekend. Tomorrow I'm gonna be going to buy some new clothes for Chinese New Year. And my clothes have actually been getting really too baggy since last year. Well, compared to last year, I definitely lost so much weight. But alright, let us continue. Grisaia, shall we? What was the last event we did? I think last event we did was we were cooking some gyoza, and before that it was us trying to see what Yumiko was doing on the roof. And then it was Michiru's before, right? Alright. What event is this one? There's an old proverb. Once 3 women gather, things get noisy. It happens to be a lie. Truth of the matter is, 1 woman is enough for things to get noisy. Females are capable of holding a lengthy conversation with a wall. Get 3 such creatures together, and you're solidly beyond noisy and into migraine-inducing territory. See, like, sometimes some of these more sexist commentary is a bit out of place nowadays, especially when it comes to writing on the modern age, I feel. Because it's definitely sexist, right? It's targeted towards women. And it's not just because it doesn't just apply to women. There are some guys too that are very noisy and also very migraine-inducing. I mean, sure, it tends to be more women that talk a lot more, but there are guys like that too. A conversation between men is a very efficient thing. Step 1. Both sides communicate their business. There is no step 2. Yeah, I don't know about that, Yuji. The modern world is a very different place compared to what it was in 2011, when this game was made. To think it's only been, what, a decade from this game? With women, it's a different story. Before they get to the point, the conversation will be diverted onto the subject of dieting, which then develops into a chat about cosmetics. From there, the topic will shift to TV programs, then celebrities, perhaps followed by an exchange of opinions on popular sweets. After a stopover at the old standby, love gossip, things will come full circle to more dieting talk. Whatever the original point of the conversation may have been, it's buried under the bewildering blizzard of topics, never to be seen again. Yeah, I feel like this doesn't just apply to women in general. It also applies to guys. Then again, maybe I'm just looking at this the wrong way. It seems entirely plausible that female conversation is pointless by design. See, like, this is so misogynistic. Misogynistic? How do you say that word? But yeah, that. Like, what the hell? Of course, I'm something of a magnanimous spirit, so I do my best to endure these unproductive chats when necessary. But there comes an end to every limit. Once my tolerance is exceeded, my usual coping method is to shut down my brain, then repeat, I see, amazing, and not your fault every time I sense a pause in the verbal onslaught. In many cases, this proves sufficient. On one memorable occasion, I weathered a conversation with a woman for a good 4 hours using nothing but these 3 phrases. I see. Amazing. Not your fault. Unfortunately, there are also times when my strategy doesn't work out so well. Hmm?
まさか適当に答えてたわけじゃないでしょうね。
What a ridiculous accusation. I was listening to every word.
じゃあ何を話してたか説明してみなさいよ。
Let's see. Something about how Sachi hates pickles? Or was it parsley?
全然違う。ほらね、聞い
Seems my concentration may have slipped ever so slightly. Probably because I got so caught up reading that new novel last night. I hadn't noticed during my morning training routine, but apparently I didn't get enough sleep. Must have flipped the mental kill switch without even realizing it. That's your own fault, Yuji. I mean, when you do that often, I guess, at some point it becomes a habit. Yuji must have done this quite often then. I forced my brain out of hibernation mode and stared Michiru in the eyes. Alright, honestly, I wasn't paying attention in the slightest. Therefore, I have no idea whatsoever as to what that conversation was about. Not even a shred of clue. You got a problem with that?
ちょっと、なんでそんな偉そうなのよ。
All I remember of that discussion was some pointless small talk at the beginning. Hardly a big deal if I did space out.
あ、そう。別にあんたがそれでいいなら構わないけど、後悔しても知らないからね。
Crying?
恥ずかしいよ、恥ずかしいよって言って泣きついても、私は慰めてあげないんだからね。
It's embarrassing. What? Sorry, I have no idea what you're talking about.
ちゃんと聞いてないからでしょう。
This might be trouble.
風見さん、先ほどの件なのですが、
Yeah, about that.
サイズの方を測らせていただいてもよろしいですか？万が一長さが足りないということになると大変ですから。
Yeah, very true. Got to have sufficient length.
はい、もしそうなったら使えなくなってしまいます。
Right, wouldn't be usable.
それでは失礼させていただきます。
With her customary finesse, Sachi takes my measurements. The skillful, efficient movements of her hands remind me of a maid gracefully pouring tea. Her refined motions possess something of the special charm unique to the work of true artisans. Truly impressive. Can I ask one question?
はい、何でしょうか？
You're measuring for the length of what exactly?
紐です。
The strap, eh?
それでは作業に取り掛かりますので失礼いたします。
Alright, show me what you can do. I expect precision to the millimeter.
はい、ありがとうございます。風見さんに似合うようにサメさんポーチを一生懸命作らせていただきます。
Sachi, hold on. Wait, Sachi. Sachi trots off, oblivious. My voice doesn't even seem to register. As I find myself alone, the gravity of the situation at last begins to sink in. A shark pouch? That will look perfect on me? By shark pouch, she's presumably referring to something like that vaguely fish-shaped fanny pack Michiru's always wearing. Okay, that much I understand, but one that will look perfect on me. What exactly is that supposed to mean? I slowly, carefully draw out my vague memories of the conversation I sleepwalked through earlier. A cool draft of air was flowing into the hallway through an open window, refreshing as a mountain breeze after a long hike. As I walked down the corridor, lost in my thoughts, I was surprised by an agitated yelp. It was reminiscent of the high-pitched shrieks emitted by cartoon animals back in the earliest days of sound films. I moved to confirm the situation, prepared for the remote possibility of an emergency. Instead, I found Michiru sprawled out on all fours, her face planted on the ground. Apparently, she was cleaning the floor with her tongue. How admirable. A face mop, eh? That brings back memories. I had to clean a few hallways this way myself, back in my old school.
そんな特殊な方法で掃除するわけないでしょ。転んだのよ。いたたた。
When I looked down, a number of canisters were strewn all over the floor. They resembled Michiru's containers of ramune candy. Apparently, this wasn't an attempt at cleaning after all. They must have fallen out of her shark pouch when she fell. In an attempt to be polite, I bent over to help her pick them up, but Michiru hurriedly snatched the nearest canister away from my hand.
私が自分で拾うからいいの。触らないでよね。
Are you sure those are candies, Michiru? Does she not want us to look at the prescription or something? If you say so.
これジッパーのとこが少しバカになってるのよね。サチに直してもらおうかしら。
お呼びですね、みちる様。
どっから出てきたの？
偶然近くを通りかかったものですから。
そう なの。でもちょうどいいわ。これのジッパーの部分直しておいてくれない？
はい、喜んで。それにしてもこのサメさん可愛いですよね。
まあね、そうよね。
このようなアイテムは人を選ぶと思うのですが、その点みちる様はとてもよくお似合いです。風見さんはどう思われますか？
Yeah, it's cute. Michiru has reached the pinnacle of shark chick.
サメ
Wait, that's it? I thought she was gonna say something else. Now that I think about it, by this point, I was already mostly tuned out of the conversation. Once a female speaks the words cute, in most cases, the discussion is going to get painfully lengthy and repetitive. Combined with my drowsiness from inefficient sleep, this instinctive judgment quickly sent my mind into hibernation mode.
へえ、あんたもこういうの好きなの？
Yeah.
それは見かけによらずです。
Really?
もしかしてあんたもこれ実は欲しいなーって思ってるんじゃないでしょうね。
I see.
本当にサメさんをお望みであれば、私が作らせていただきますが。
Amazing.
ちょっと私が冗談で言ったのが悪かったわよ。この子本当に作るわよ。
Not your fault. This guy is so
風見
stupid.
さんは本当にサメさんポーチを望んでおられるようです。
そうなの？目が若干うつろだけど本当にそうなの？適当に返事してるだけじゃないの？
みちる様、それは間違っています。風見さんは返事を適当にする人ではありません。風見さん、私にサメさん作らせてください。
I see.
しかも風見さん用にラインストーンをつけてさらに可愛くキラキラにさせていただきます。だから毎日しっかり着用してくださいませんか？
Amazing.
ちょっとユージ、私が悪かったってば。この子本当に作っちゃうわよ。そしたら毎日キラキラをぶら下げて生活することになるのよ。キラブラ生活なのよ。それでもいいの？
Not your fault. Fucking idiot.
みちる様、きっと風見さんはこう見えて大のファンシー好きでありキラキラ好きなんです。このサメさんにはラインストーンが似合う。風見さんもそう思っていただけたんですね。
I see.
それでは決定事項とさせていただきます。
Amazing.
クオリティが低くならないように努力します。
Not your fault. Somehow, it seems the conversation concluded with me sentenced to wear a sparkly shark fanny pack at all times. I gently close my eyes and imagine the result. A sparkly lifestyle. As they say in Hollywood, a life of glitter. Although I can picture the scene without difficulty, accepting it proves beyond my capabilities. Sache! Sache!
はい、いかがなさいましたか？
Emergency situation. Sorry for the sudden notice, but I need to withdraw the previous request. Discontinue the production process.
と申しますと？
I'm talking about the pouch. You remember, right?
はい、すでに半分ほど完成しているサメさんポーチの件ですか？
You work fast.
はい、それはもうマッハで取り掛かっておりましたもので。
Every time the words shark pouch leave Sachi's mouth, her expression becomes dazed and dreamy. The girl's gotten herself all fired up for some reason. I've got to do something, and quick.
だって風見さんがサメさんポーチだなんて可愛いじゃないですか。ですからこの小峰幸、それはもうミリミリで作業に取り掛からせていただきました。
I myself have never been the biggest fan of sharks, but when I was at IKEA, I did see, a pretty nice shark. What is it called? Plushie? I think Sachi definitely influenced my likability for sharks. I was kind of tempted to buy it. I don't think it was all that expensive too. Maybe a couple bucks, maybe like 10 or 15. I don't remember. Maybe like 30. Could be 30 actually. But it wasn't that bad. I mean, I bought some Digimon plushies myself for about what, 50 bucks? I mean, I am tempted. Maybe next time I go to IKEA. Right. If the thing's already half finished, I can hardly admit that I simply wasn't paying attention to the conversation. In the field, even a momentary lapse of judgment can be enough to trap you in a hopeless situation. I've seen people die for their carelessness before my eyes. A few thoughtless steps, a small sound drowned out by the buzzing of insects, a single stray bullet. Such things can sometimes change the fate of the world. I should know this all too well, and yet, look at me now. Cold sweat trickles down my armpits as I speak. A shark, eh? A shark, is it?
はいサメさんです
Could you make it a crocodile instead?
できますすぐに取り掛からせていただきます
Figures. I was hoping to buy some time with an unreasonable demand, but we're dealing with Sachi here. A design change like that doesn't even face her. Sorry, Sachi. Forget about the crocodile as well.
はいではこのトレーシングペーパーはひとまず剥がしておきます
Her preparations for changing the coloration from a shark to a crocodile were proceeding far too quickly. I can't underestimate her skills. I've got to pick an animal difficult enough to throw her for a loop and slow down the production process. Which would mean... I've got it, Sachi. What we need here is a bush dog.
ヤブ犬ですかアルゼンチン北東部などに生息し後ろ向きに走ることができるという別名ブッシュドッグことあのヤブ犬ですか
I don't know what the hell that is, but okay, thank you for the explanation. I do indeed. Think you can handle it?
もちろんですしかし少し時間がかかるかもしれません
Sachi twists her face in apparent frustration, just as I'd hoped. Even with her determined spirit, making a motive from such an unfamiliar animal should require some time-consuming work. Alright, carefully collect your reference materials. Proceed slowly but surely. Nice and slowly. Understood?
かかります
Let's have your initial report on the estimated time to completion.
二丸分です
Through heroic effort, I managed to swallow the words, "That's too damn fast," before they leave my mouth. I see. You think it'll go that smoothly, eh?
迅速な行動が理念ですからそれでは失礼いたします
Seems the bush dog was too easy. If I'd gone with the golden lion tamarin, I might have bought myself a few more minutes. Damn it! I chose poorly! Damn it!
バカじゃないの本当に適当に返事してるからでしょまったく
Silence! What's the point of passing judgment on history from a position of hindsight? At that time, under those circumstances, I made the best decisions that I could.
その結果がこれまったくご苦労なことね
Damn it! Damn it all!
ちょっと落ち着きなさいよ放置ぐらい大したことじゃないでしょ
I agree, Michiru. It's hardly that big of a deal. Ugh. Yes. Perhaps you're right. My apologies. I overreacted. Thanks to Michiru's words, I quickly regained my composure. It seems my lack of sleep may have made me overly irritable. Just as she says, if I think about the matter rationally, there's hardly any reason to make such a fuss over a mere rhinestone-covered shark pouch. The mature thing is to politely accept my sparkly fate. On second thought, I'd rather die.
だから落ち着きなさいっての
Ah! Adequate sleep! Adequate! Sleep is gravely important!
どうしたのよさずいぶん騒がしいじゃないの祭り系それがさ参っちゃうのよねユージが珍しく苛立っててね
I mean, never, what is it? Never underestimate lack of sleep. It's pretty important, you know? I make sure to sleep at least 5 hours a day.
ほへー珍しいこともあるのよさカルシウム食えやほれ
As she speaks, Makina picks up a pebble from the hallway floor and offers it to me. I accept it with a curt yeah, then hurl it into the distance with one smooth movement.
何するの
Silence, please. I really truly need you to stop talking for a while.
Please don't say train
The fuck? Nobody was discussing locomotives. Your English is terrible. Also, you need to shut up.
ミュなんよ変なお兄ちゃんだな確かにいつもと とちょっと違うのよさ。
Hey, he's right. Sleep is important, Machina.
話半分で聞いてるユージが悪いから仕方ないんだけどね。
True. When you get down to it, this is my fault. Seems I have no choice but to accept the consequences.
それでチルチルは私に何の用なのよ。それは
風見さん、できましたよ。ヤブ犬さんですよ。
Damn it! I am definitely charmed by this sort of dedication to something. Like, she's so happy while doing it, okay? You don't really see that on a lot of the other girls. And people say my preference for girls are pretty boring. I don't necessarily care about that, but I do like Sachi. I do actually think that this is cute, okay? But that is my preference. I'm not forcing my my preference on you guys. Feel free to think Sachi's cute or not by yourself. Although she's completely out of breath, Sachi's face is filled with the joy of victory. She thrusts out her hand, offering me a pouch recognizably modeled after a bush dog. Pretty impressive accuracy for such off-the-cuff work, actually. Good work! Impressive. I wasn't expecting you to finish the job so quickly.
はい、サメは国家なり。
サメじゃなくてヤブ犬だし、国家でもないけど。
では風見さん、早速ご試着願います。この紐を肩におかけになってください。
I turned the pouch over in my hand. It seems to be constructed from heavy-duty waterproof nylon, usable even in heavy rainy weather. In order to express the distinctive coat of the bush dog, Sachi's made use of fabric with a chocolate chip pattern. The chocolate chip design is more familiar as a camouflage pattern in desert regions, but it's still well suited to the purpose. I'm honestly fairly impressed with her creative choice. And yet, as if to intentionally shatter the otherwise clever design, sparkling rhinestones are scattered all across the pouch's surface. The sheer glitter power of this thing is overwhelming. I feel a little dizzy just looking at it. Hey, Sachi.
はい、どうかいたしましたか？紐にはアジャスターも備えていますから、多少の体格の変化にも対応できます。この小峰幸の最高傑作と言っても過言ではありません。ぜひの試着を。
I see. I still my nerves and prepare to face my cruel, sparkly fate. Ugh. If only I'd gotten adequate sleep. But in the next moment, the situation changes abruptly. Michiru approaches briskly, snatches the pouch from my hands, and dangles it in front of Machina.
ほら、マキナ見てみなさいよ、このポーチ。ポーチ？ポーチなんて興味ないのよさ。寝言は寝て言えっつうの、本当に。バカ、ちゃんとよく見てみなさいよね。ほらこれ、キラキラついてるのよ。キラキラ
With a subtle motion too small for Machina to consciously notice, Michiru draws the pouch back toward herself. The action triggers Machina's subconscious instinct for the chase, firmly hooking her interest on the bush dog pouch.
キラキラなのよさ。目さキラキラしとる。それ香水。
At Machina's words, I grab Sachi's shoulders and stare intensely into her eyes. Sachi, my friend, you heard the girl? This thing's hella shiny. I want it. Unless you give me this pouch, I don't know what will become of me. I'm afraid I can no longer live without it. What passion! My heart has been moved. On that note, I know I was originally scheduled to receive this, but I think Machina may be the more deserving recipient. It may look even better on her than it would on me. What do you think?
そうですね。確かにサメの段階では風見さんがベストだったのですが、ヤブ犬となるとマキちゃんに若干の軍配が。
これ何？ゴールデンライオンなんとか？
失敬な。どこからどう見てもヤブ
ヤブ犬か。あれかわいいよね。ヤブ犬大好き。チルチルの次に好き。マキナの中で私のポジションどの辺なの？犬、チルチル、ヤブ犬、犬っていう順 なんだかすごく獣に挟まれてる感じがする。そして犬が2回も。
Sachi, can you find it in your heart to give it to our young animal lover here? I think that would be the best thing for the pouch.
もう獣が好きなわけじゃないのよ。ヤブ犬と2匹の犬とチルチルが好きなだけなのよ。はい、わかりました。確かに私も風見さんよりマキちゃんが持っていた方がお似合いな気がします。はーい、モロタでキラッキラのヤブ犬モロタで。ダフン、こいつ泣くぞ。はい、泣いた方がいいかなって。なぜ照れた。ねえねえサッチ、これもっと泣く泣きバリエある？バリエーションはまだ10種類しかなくてね。これで。
What the fuck?
いやー、かわいいかわいい。あっちでもっと教えて。人のいない静かな場所でこの鳴き声を堪能したいのよさ。この鼻の部分を押すとね。すげー。
Makina and Sachi wander off somewhere, grasping the sparkling bush dog pouch in their hands. Left behind, Michiru and I find each other's eyes and heave simultaneous sighs of relief. Excellent work. I definitely owe you one.
はあ？何がよ。
No need to play dumb. I know you orchestrated this conclusion. You called Makina over so you could press that pouch on her.
画策？変な言いがかりつけないでよね。私のどこが画策だって言うのよ。そんなに画策してる？
Can you define orchestrated?
あれでしょ、こうカクカクサクサクってことでしょ。何それ、どういう意味よ。
Whatever. Either way, I owe you one. From now on, I'll be paying at least a little attention to any conversation, no matter how incredibly pointless. Otherwise, there's no telling when I'll get caught up in something ridiculous again.
あんたって素直なんだかへそ曲がりなんだかわかんないわね。
Sounds like you're describing yourself.
そんなことないでしょ。すっごいじゃなくてすっごく積んで。で、こういう時はどうすればいいのかしら。
If a tsundere honestly admits they're a tsundere, they stop being a tsundere. Think of it this way. A woman says everyone on her island tells nothing but lies. If it's true, the woman's a liar. But if she's a liar, what she says can't be true. Same thing applies here.
ハリネズミのジレンマってやつね。
No, not quite.
違うの？ジンマシンのハリネズミ？
Now you're just talking about an animal giving birth.
じゃあ、段ボール箱の中の猫がジンマシン？
Are you looking to become a veterinarian?
私って獣医になりたがってるの？いつの間にか心理テストを試したのね。なんという恐ろしい男。
I feel like she's acting dumb here. She's trying to make us talk about something else. Other than, you know, us... you know... What is it? Owing her a favor. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. There was no testing involved. You managed to get yourself completely confused just fine without my help. Specifically, you started talking about things you don't understand and lost track of the conversation entirely. Neither Schrödinger, I actually don't know how to say that word, till this day, nor Freud have anything to do with this. You're trying too hard. Stick to nice small words.
うるさいわね。とにかく私は私なの。他の誰でもないの。
Yes, I'm aware of that.
私は分かってないのよ。
Michiru takes a handful of ramune candies from her pouch and munches down on them vigorously. I know women are always saying they have a separate stomach for sweets, but isn't this daily intake of junk food bad for her? Or is this some form of stress relief? Seems to me that a coping strategy like that would just get you caught in a vicious circle of candy-bloated misery. You know, no matter how much glucose you take in, it's not going to increase your basic potential for action. It's certainly necessary as energy for your brain, but considering your presumably modern and clearly unhealthy diet, there's no need to go out of your way to take more. Junk food like that is basically pure sugar, just so you know.
ほっときなさいよね。こうすると落ち着くのよ。にゃんにゃん。
If you're that fond of them, let me try one.
ダメよ。これは私専用なんだから。自分で買いなさい、この貧乏人。あ、貧乏人って言葉はまずいか。
Bimbo is actually a poor guy, I think.
このお菓子を欲しがる人への悪口は
You what?
このシュガーです。
I think you may have gotten there from homeless, but the nuance is actually pretty different. I think I might have mentioned this, but your English really needs work.
うっさいわね。とにかくそういうことだからバイバイ。
I do still think that those things are not candies. Oh, a reasonably polite farewell for once.
バイバイ取り消し。バイバイしないからね。なんもなしで去るからね。なんもなし。
Got it. See you later.
またね。
It's difficult for me to determine whether this girl is basically a somewhat considerate person, or just an utter idiot who occasionally stumbles her way into acts of kindness. But either way, she's incredibly noisy. From experience, I know that there are essentially two types of women in the world. You have your noisy women, and then you have your even noisier women. This is really sexist, damn it, Yuji. And we men must manage as best we can in this cruel world. There is a quick and efficient way of shutting a woman up, namely sealing her lips. But sadly, this comes with its own set of complications. Life's no picnic. I think I'll be going to bed early tonight. I don't know who the author of this game is, but I don't know if he's actually even misogynistic. Some of the stuff he puts in these monologues, though, really crazy. When you visit a country where they speak a different language, there's one thing you should always learn first. Is it that scene? I think I think if this is that English scene, I remember it fairly well. Namely, the local phrase for thank you, or so my master taught me. Of course, my master was also such a half-ass human being that she usually didn't bother to learn anything else. Get thanks down first, then just make up the rest as you go along. I had plenty of good conversations in America using only a thank you, dog, and pencil. When someone's that shamelessly sloppy about life, it's actually kind of charming. Nope. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, Yuji, but that is stupid. The woman had the brains of poultry. But while we're on the subject of English, chicken head is an insult you should usually try to avoid over there. Say that to a woman and you've implied that she spends a lot of time moving her head back and forth like a chicken pecking at feed. Not sure if this is true or not.
Today's supper is a fish. You like a fish?
Yeah, it is this scene. This scene is so stupid.
Do I do like a fish? Yes, fish. Are you okay? What you say? Are you okay? Are you okay? Yes, I'm okay. Oh, jeez, but that... You too? Stop that! You bastard! What? Please say again. You know I'm saying... Knock enough. I like fish. I'm rabbit. You rabbit? You must not laugh.
What the fuck is this conversation, damn it? Hey, Amane.
Nani-san?
What exactly are those two doing over there?
あれマキナ先生の特別授業だよ。
Remedial class?
ほら、みちるはこの前、英語のテストで赤点ギリギリだったじゃない？だからああやって時々教えてもらってんのよ。
Machina? Teach?
まあ、ほら、言ったと思うけど、マキナはああ見えて子供の頃アメリカに住んでたしね。
The idea of Machina teaching somebody is kind of bizarre.
何を言う？考えてもみたまい諸君。いいかね？松島みちるといえばショパンをチョピンと読む女だぞ。 そして私はアニマルをエニモと発音する女だ。
That's still not better, you know.
これはもう誰の目から見ても私が教える側の人間であることは明白。まさに自明の理ではあるまいか。いや、そうに違いない。反語。そしてなぜか口調まで天才風。うざいこと苦の上なし。
自分で言うっていうか、自分で分かっているなら自重しなさいよ。
Sadly, Amane, just because someone's aware that they're doing something annoying doesn't mean they're going to stop. Awareness does not mean the ability to, you know, change your thing. You're awfully full of yourself for someone who can't even pronounce Animalocaris properly. The fuck is even that?
何それ。
It's the name of the largest animal in existence during the Cambrian period. Machina, let's see what you've got.
アロマノカリス。
Wrong. Try again.
アノロマカリス。
Wrong. It's Anomalocaris. Once more.
マノ
ハロゲンバルブ。
ハゲロンバブル。
はい、アウト。
What? You can't even handle halogen bulb?
マキちゃんは舌が短い
Is
し、
it halogen?
頭の中
I don't
が
know.
ちょっと特殊なので、うまく発音できない言葉が多いんですよ。
そんなことないのよ。なめんな。マキナなめんな。
可逆線マンギョンボンゴ。
The fuck? That is a very hard one, Sachi.
もううるさいな。邪魔すんな。
Spare me the temper tantrum. It's probably a side effect of a compression-based mnemonic method. She seems to be storing only the beginning and ending of each word for efficiency. So proper nouns and words with unusual middle syllables give her trouble.
チルチル、英会話の続きやるよ。
うるさいわね。そんな大声出さなくても聞こえてるわよ。
よし、じゃあアマネを使った英会話始め。
Her name is Amane.
I know, so what?
She's very lovely.
It's right.
English is so weird. I actually have no idea if the English in Japan is like this. Like, I've talked to a couple of Japanese before when I was there, using English, and I don't think they speak in this way. This has gotta be something that they have, like, an internal comedy for, right? I mean, I don't know, but the people that I talked to were actually pretty decent at English.
By making her a lover, it's to become happy.
How about it?
She's lover of lover.
Lover of lover?
If you marry her, it is mommy of mommy.
Hey, is your mommy a mommy?
Yes!
Machina is just purely dumb. Damn it! I know this is... I know this is, what is it? What is it? What's the word I'm looking for? I know this is, damn it, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like stage, I know that, but it's still funny.
Oh, holy shit! Cool fun! You get life!
What the fuck are you even talking about, Machina? What good is this doing? This isn't even a conversation. Hey, Amane. Is this really going to help her grades any?
どうだろうね。まあ、やらないよりはいいんじゃない？
Oh, hell no. This doesn't help at all. Well, maybe, I guess. The complete lack of coherent flow of their conversation is part of the problem. But Machina's English is honestly almost as bad as Michiru's. Her pronunciation is comically off, and she mixes in many weird phrases you won't hear over there. They say you shouldn't learn English from a non-native speaker, and this is a good case in point.
まあ、なんとかなるんじゃない？ノリで。
As you go along, eh? I suppose there are some people out there who can hold an entire conversation using only pencil, dog, and thank you. When it comes to English conversations, might as well just make it up as you go along. I guess that's the extent of our lesson for today. Well, when my dad was in China, and he had a friend who basically doesn't know any Chinese at all, I guess, you know, with the whole, what is it, body language thing, he can make it work. But that's back then though, and now is now. I still think that if you're going somewhere for the first time, it's at least like common courtesy to at least study the language a tiny bit. You know, I don't know, like do your homework before you go there. But I guess people can't really be arsed. When you see a maid with her hands empty, call out to her. That's a line from an old movie I saw once. It basically means that a capable maid should be kept busy at all times. Excluding the bridesmaid, whose main responsibility is getting drunk at her friend's wedding, the essence of the maid is service. Her job is to anticipate her employer's actions and needs, then take care of the dirty work in advance. We're getting a lot of Sachi events today. Or at least this episode. This generally involves tools of some kind, so a maid who isn't carrying anything tends to be an idle, underemployed maid. You can apply the idea to other occupations as well. A good soldier always carries a well-maintained rifle, and a diligent student should always have a reference book or two on their person. But in some cases, the opposite may also be true. As I've just discovered, there are certain maids who catch your attention when their hands are full, rather than empty. The maid in question, Komine Sachi, is a fairly recently my classmate. Just yesterday, we sat at our desks in the same classroom, pursuing our studies together. And now here she is, walking in my direction, dragging a metal bat roughly across the floor. In this country, where guns and bladed weapons are strictly prohibited, this is about as suspicious as it gets. Show this scene to 10,000 Japanese, and I think everyone would mistake her for a dangerous person. Of course, I don't actually have any proof that assumption would be a mistake on their part. Maybe she really is planning to burst into someone's room and launch an attack. So, who's the target? Unable to suppress my doubts, I call out to Sachi with the question foremost on my mind. She turns to face me with a blank expression of confusion. Her non-plush face is enough to confirm that my worst suspicions were unfounded. My interrogation proceeds to the next logical point of inquiry. What's that metal bat in your right hand?
水も製です。
No, that's not.
滅もです。
I wasn't asking for the brand, and your pronunciation was fine for the first time.
困りました。私、風見さんの質問の意図がわかりません。
I just want to know why you have that metal bat in your hand, and what you intend to use it for.
なるほど。そういう質問だったんですね。
Closing her eyes, she nods in satisfaction at resolving the puzzle. If I was having this conversation with someone from Ichigaya, we would have gotten to this point in 2 seconds or less. Communication between students, as you can see, is a comparatively involved and troublesome process.
この金属バットはみちる様に頼まれて教室のロッカーから持ってきたんです。
Michiru asked for that? She planning to challenge Sakaki to a duel or something?
それは聞いていませんけど。
Your position inside the hierarchy of your community is established fairly quickly. For those determined to move up the ladder, single combat is a fairly common means of advancement. Perhaps this is a good opportunity to witness such a moment of struggle. Mind if I come with you?
私は構いませんけど。
Alright then, let's go. When we reach Michiru's room, Sachi knocks lightly on the door.
合言葉は
山、
川。
ブルマ。
What the f- So dumb. With this brief, cryptic exchange of words, the door swings open.
よくやってくれたわね。
In the next moment, a shock of distinctive bleach gold hair springs out toward me. I don't remember doing anything warranting a hug from you, actually.
ってなんでユージがここにいるのよ。
途中で風見さんと会ってみちる様のところに行くと言ったらついて行ってもいいかと言われたので。
なんで？
Why not? Just felt like seeing you, Michiru.
そ んな見えすいた嘘に私は騙されないわよ。
その割にはまんざらでもないって顔をしています。
そこは拾わなくていいところよ、サチ。
すみません。
So, what exactly are you planning to use a metal bat for?
それは乙女の秘密ってやつよ。男のあんたなんかに教えられるわけないでしょ。
Does a metal bat have any female-specific applications?
それじゃあありがとう、サチ。このお礼は必ずするから。
はい。
With this exchange, Michiru quickly retreats back into her room, and Sachi starts to walk off with a satisfied expression on her face. Sachi, aren't you interested in what Michiru plans to use that bat for?
私の仕事はただ頼まれたものを届けるだけですから。
I see. True, demonstrating the discretion to refrain from inquiring into the circumstances of your clients is a vital step toward establishing trusting business relationships. Sachi seems to view her responsibility as a class representative from an admirably professional perspective. Impressive, Sachi. You've exceeded my expectations again.
ありがとうございます。
Watching Sachi's face flush slightly red, I continue with my questions. So, what's next on your schedule?
次は中庭の花壇にお水をまこうと思ってます。
Is that also part of your job as a class rep?
クラス委員の仕事ではないですが、以前学園長さんに枯れない程度に水をやってもらえると助かると言われたので。
I see. Seems that woman's been saving on labor costs by relying on volunteers for simple maintenance work. Next time you see the principal getting ready to push work on you, I think you should tell her the following. Come back after you fix that habit of baby talking to your pets.
わかりました。
Also, one more request. Would you mind if I continue observing your work for a while?
はい。私は別に構いませんけど。
Something the matter?
その、私を見ているだけだと風見さんが退屈なんじゃないかと。
No worries on that front. I've already been entertained enough to last me for a while. Sachi tilts her head to the side in a gesture of pure bewilderment. The more time I spend around this girl, the more I realize that she's a natural airhead. The type so oblivious she doesn't even realize she's missing out on everyone else's jokes. Alright, that's that. Don't mind me. I'll keep out of your way.
はい。
Yes, this is the first time we're actually hearing this soundtrack, or this music. I actually have listened to this for multiple hours on some occasions. Don't ask me why. Upon entering the courtyard, Sachi immediately begins watering the rows of flowers. If you forget the strange fact that it's taking place in a Japanese school, this little scene of a maid caring for the flower beds is truly picturesque. Are those purple flowers verbenas?
はい。熊つづら科の多年草で、日本では美女桜って呼ばれたりしています。
You're pretty knowledgeable.
詳しいまではいかないですけど、枯らさない程度に最低限のことは調べました。
I see. You're a diligent one. Yeah, my sister has her own, like, small garden outside of the house. I just wish that she actually put in a lot more effort than just, you know, planting it in some pot and then watering it. Like, she should actually know just how much sunlight those plants need. And, you know, how much water you actually need it, not just spray it and with a bunch of water. Because a lot of them die before they reach maturity. All of a sudden, Sachi stops moving her watering can. She bends down and opens the flower's bulb with her hand, carefully examining it. Something wrong? Oh, sorry.
この子の葉っぱ、白くなってます。
Crouching down next to her to take a look, I quickly understand why she's so concerned. One of the flower's petals is almost entirely covered in white, as if someone's dusted it with powder. Looks like flower disease. At my words, Sachi looks at me with eyes full of anticipation. Sorry, but that doesn't mean it's become edible. It's more commonly known as powdery mildew disease. You see it a lot when you're growing wheat or grapes.
そうだったんですか。
It's caused by a parasitic fungus, so the most effective response would probably be using chemical fungicides on the affected plants.
殺菌剤。
If you ask the principal, I'm sure she'll get some for you. What is it? Something on your mind?
風見さんの方こそ花のことに詳しいなと思って。
Ah, not in particular. Guess I'm actually pretty similar to you in this respect, Sachi. Somebody told me to read books, and I've just been following those orders. After a while, a lot of random trivia just accumulated in my head. It does come in handy every so often. Sachi doesn't respond to my words verbally, but her smile seems slightly brighter than usual. Can we listen to that soundtrack again? I already miss it, damn it. Brings so many memories. So, where are we headed next?
おトイレです。
That's so.
はい。
The conversation comes to an abrupt end. We walk on in silence. After a little while, we arrive in front of the girls' bathroom. Hey Sachi, mind if I stop you for a second here?
なんでしょう。
If we take another step forward here, I'm going to be trespassing in the girls' bathroom.
そうなりますね。
And you don't have a problem with that?
私がどうというよりは、もしその現場を他の誰かに見られた場合、風見さんの信用を著しく損なう恐れがあると思いますけど。
Seems she at least understands that a man entering a female restroom is not generally considered acceptable. So next up is cleaning the grand bathroom.
はい。この時間帯にお風呂に入ろうとする人は少ないので、いつもこのくらいに掃除をすることが多いです。
Very echoey voice you have there. You planning to do it by yourself today, as usual?
そうですね。私は分身したり、自分そっくりのロボットを作ったりする力は持っていないので。
True. Don't think I can help you on that front myself. That said, she could at least try asking one of the others for assistance once in a while. Maybe it has something to do with her firm's set of beliefs about her responsibilities as class representative. While I'm pondering the matter, Sachi has already calmly begun her work. After stopping the hot water that's constantly trickling into the oversized bath, she begins to lightly rinse the other areas of the bathroom using the shower head. From the quick, confident movements of her hands, it's obvious that she's repeated this procedure many times. It's pretty clear that Michiru Urumane helping is a rare event. I think she's effectively been cleaning this place all by herself for a long time now. Since I did tell Sachi I'd stay out of her way, it was my intention not to interfere with her work as much as possible, but just standing here and watching as my classmate does manual labor feels pretty awkward. Hey Sachi.
Hi.
This is just an offer, but how about I help out as well?
でも、ここの掃除は風見さんが頼まれたわけではないですし。
Yeah, but I'd like to help, as long as I wouldn't get in the way. What do you say?
そうですね。風見さんはどことなく不思議な力が使えたりしそうな雰囲気があるので、その力を駆使して手伝っていただけると助かるかもしれません。
I don't think I'm God, Sachi. Or am I a mage? Unfortunately, I don't have any supernatural skills. But I do have some confidence in my basic physical capabilities.
わかりました。では、体力を駆使してよろしくお願いします。
Sure. Okay, let's get down to it. Your orders? What's wrong?
実は私、人に指示を出すのがあまり得意ではなくて。
I see. In that case, you want me to give the commands?
はい、その方が助かります。
Got it. We're dividing the bathroom into two halves. Sachi, continue to work on that area from the entrance to the right wall. I'll assume responsibility for the left half. Our objective will be to finish the work in 15 minutes. Is that acceptable?
Yes, sir.
A good response. Having completed the division of labor, I quietly move my brush along the tiled floor, precisely imitating Sachi's movements as I observed them earlier. The bathroom really is nice in this game. Really big bathroom, like holy shit. Throwing yourself into a mindless task like this every once in a while isn't such a bad thing. Helps maintain your ability to concentrate. Sachi lets out a small cry, and there's the sound of something toppling over. When I turn around, I find Sachi sitting on her backside on the bathroom floor. She seems somewhat dazed. You planning to clean the floor with your clothes instead of the brush?
なるほど。その考えはありませんでした。目から鱗です。
In a gesture that's growing increasingly familiar to me, Sachi nods her head vigorously several times. It seems to be a sign she's absorbing a new idea. So first things first, any injuries?
少し床のタイルを傷めたかもしれません。
That's not a problem. Let's continue the job. I reach out my hand to Sachi, who hasn't budged from the bathroom floor during this conversation.
はい。
After helping Sachi to her feet and confirming that she's alright, I return to my own work. But seriously, the more you look at this gigantic bathroom, the more it seems out of place in a student dormitory. Yeah, it feels like something that you'd get in a very fancy hotel, and even then, you usually don't get this big of a bathroom. It's sizable enough that even a grown man would likely get tired trying to clean it alone. Then again, this academy is dramatically over-equipped in nearly every respect, considering the tiny number of students currently enrolled here. The one area where they show moderate restraint is the small faculty, but even then, every class is led by a lecturer with special expertise in their particular field. Well, I suppose the economic efficiency of this place isn't really my problem. What's with the chirping? Do we have a sparrow trapped in here? When I turn back in search of the wayward songbird, I find Sachi in an inexplicable state of undress. What on earth are you wearing?
パンツ一丁でしょうか。
She's got her bra on as well, so I think underwear would be a more precise description. No, see, I was trying to ask why you've taken off your maid uniform.
それは先ほど転んだ時に服が濡れてしまったので、どうせならもっと効率のいい方法で掃除をしようと思った結果です。
And so you wrap your uniform around the head of the brush and start dragging it across the floor.
はい、風見さんの一言から思いついた名案です。グッジョブです。
Yes, very wise words. I suppose her clothes brush is contacting more of the floor at once than the standard version, but I'm more than a little dubious about how effective a cleaning instrument it is. In exchange, you're standing around in your underwear in front of a member of the opposite sex. Any thoughts on that?
ダメで。
Pretty cute sprite. I am pretty biased about this, but you know, I try not to be biased. But that is cute. Sorry, but I'm not familiar with the language of the sparrows.
ダメでしょうか。
Well, not for me. I'm not the sort to complain about a free show.
それなら問題ありませんね。
As soon as the words are out of her mouth, Sachi gets back to work, completely nonchalant. Things have gotten troublesome all of a sudden. There may not be any major problems at present, but if, say, Amani were to walk in right now, I think there's a good possibility I'd get dragged into an interrogation even lengthier than the one that followed the JB incident. At this point, I notice Sakaki is standing frozen just inside the entrance. Damn you anime moments! Planning to take a bath in your clothes?
その必要もなくなったわ。たった今ね。
Even as she spits out her retort, Sakaki's suspicious glare stays glued to Sachi and her bizarre appearance.
小峰さん、その格好はどうしたの？風見さんが脱いだ方がいいとおっしゃるので。
Damn you, Sachi, you're not supposed to throw me off the bus. Hold on, Sachi. There are a number of problems with your attempt at explaining the situation.
じゃあ、本当のところはどうだっていうの？あなたにも前例があるし、
返答によっては許さないわよ。
Prior offender? Oh, you're talking about that time she came to school in her underwear.
ええ。
Sakaki reaches into the pocket of her skirt and retrieves the usual item. So she carries her self-defense stationery with her even into the bath. A truly cautious individual. Sachi could learn a thing or two from her example. I think I've mentioned this before, but that thing isn't going to work on me. As for the reason Sachi's in her underwear, she decided this would be a more efficient method of cleaning and took off her clothes on her own initiative.
そう。
Although I offered my explanation fully expecting it to be rejected, Sakaki accepts my words surprisingly easily. It seems she's familiar enough with Sachi's lack of common sense that even a bizarre story like this sounds perfectly plausible. So anyway, the grand bath is reserved for cleaning at the moment. Yeah, she takes it way too normally. At this announcement, Sakaki abruptly turns and walks out of the bathroom, her long hair streaming behind her. And Sachi is very nonchalant about this. As for Sachi, she's already restarted her cleaning as if nothing had happened. The females in the school seem to be somewhat lacking in the shame department. Or perhaps my preconceptions on the matter are as old-fashioned as wearing a pager on your hip. Maybe this is just the way things are nowadays. It seems like I've still got quite a lot to learn. Sachi, you're really something, in a lot of ways.
ありがとうございます。
I have a truly unlimited number of unresolved questions here, but one in particular stands out. Why is it that this girl can strip to her underwear in front of a man without even batting an eyelid, but blushes bright red when you give her anything resembling a compliment? Female thought processes are truly complex. Again, Yuji, it's not just females, damn you. In this way, a day spent in close observation of my classmate comes to an end. And starting the very next day, there's a clear change in my environment. Thank you for this soundtrack. I can't wait to actually listen to this song again after I'm done with this. I haven't listened to this in quite a while, maybe a couple of years. Maybe 2 years or... Yeah, the last time I played this, basically. Probably 2 years. Specifically, this. Sachi has suddenly moved from her habitual seat, directly in front of the teacher's podium, to the desk immediately next to mine. Not that she's started pressing her blubber against me, Amane style. She's just changed her seat. Not a particularly dramatic event, really.
ねえユージ、これはどういうことなのか、ちゃんと私に説明して。
I'd like to hear an explanation myself, honestly. But first of all, can you stop interrogating me as if I'm an unfaithful husband? But this small change seems to have taken everyone around me by surprise, prompting general curiosity.
まさかあんた、痛いけなサチの弱みを握って席を移るように命令したんじゃないでしょうね。
Oh, an interesting scenario. Where would things go from there?
そりゃいやらしい写真を撮ったり、部屋に呼び出してって、あんたは女の子になんてこと言わせるのよ。
You're the one who thought about that, Michiru. I don't remember making you reveal your sick and twisted mind.
ねえねえサッチン、どうしてお兄ちゃんのそばに席を変えたの？
As Machina plunges into the heart of the matter, the other two inquisitors catch their breath in anticipation.
特に理由はないよ。ただそっちの方がいいかなってちょっと思っただけで。
And why exactly would she suddenly prefer this seat? Was nearly walking into a girl's bathroom together that much of a bonding experience?
ねえサチ、それってもしかしてユージのことが好きってことなんじゃないの？
みちる様がですか？
私じゃなくてサチがユージのことを好きになったんじゃないかってこと。
Having grasped the nature of the question, Sachi closes her eyes in thought.
それは多分違うと思います。
そうなの？
はい。 風見さんが悪い人ではないということは分かりましたが、まだ恋心を抱いたわけではありませんから。
そうなんだ。
はい。
Sachi simply answers the questions put to her in a steady, bland tone of voice. That hasn't changed at all from the day I met her.
早くも振られちゃったわね、ユージ。
Yeah, before I even made my move, that's a new record.
じゃあ、本当になんとなくなの？
本当になんとなく。
There's a slight smile on Sachi's face as she speaks. I'm pretty confident she's speaking with complete honesty.
でもまだということはこれから好きになる可能性はあるということよね。
I spent an entire day with her yesterday, but Sachi's thoughts are still beyond my understanding. But it seems clear that her opinion of me has undergone a subtle change of some sort.
ああ、小峰さん。
This one.
少しいいかしら。は
Sorry, Chizuru.
い。悪いんだけど少し頼みたいことが。それより赤ちゃん言葉でペットに話しかける癖を直した方がいい。どうして小峰さんがそのことを。私、小峰さんに何かした？
No, don't worry, Chizuru. It's not you, damn it. Just a couple of hours after that, eh? It's pretty well known that rabbits can die if they get lonely enough. You might assume that means you should be petting your bunnies at all times, but in fact, excessive contact can stress their nerves badly enough to inspire escape attempts. Moderation is the rule in our interactions with other creatures. Also humans, don't forget, also humans. But human beings have a hard time finding that balance even when we try. All too often, we clumsily misjudge the appropriate distance, or stumble in our attempts to maintain it.
ちょっとお兄ちゃん、キッキーなのよさ。ちょっとなあ。
Yeah, sounds bad. A crisis to be sure. A recess period. Machina pops up noisily before my eyes, then proceeds to grab at my clothes and shake me back and forth. I ward her off with one hand, paying little attention to the specific content of her squawking.
で、お兄ちゃん、なんで思いっきしスルーするのよさ。
Well, I assume you're just babbling. Can't say I'm sensing a whole lot of danger right now.
でも本当に大変なの。そんなすまし顔でイケメンやってる場合じゃねえっての。地球が危ないのよさ。
I can't do anything about my face. Leaving that aside, I suppose it wouldn't do to ignore a global crisis.
おう、地球は言い過ぎた。すまん。もっとちっこいな。うちのクラスの話。
That's a pretty dramatic drop in scale, you little punk.
でもな、世界系だとこういう小さなコミュニティが大体世界の命運を握るわけだから、おおむね間違ってはいないはず。
Very true. Oh, is this actually where I stopped playing the game? I noticed that the skip area is grayed out now. I guess this is where I stopped. What the hell are you even talking about?
まあ、世界やら世界はともかくとして、私たちの半径1キロ圏内において重要な事柄であることには間違いないと思うよ。
Ho. Machina is one thing, but if Amane is backing her up, I guess this does warrant my attention.
なになに？何の話してるの？
皆さんで集まってどういった要件でしょうか？
I have a feeling this is going to get out of hand if everyone jumps into the conversation. But just as I'm about to shoo away the two late arrivals,
それよ！
for some reason, Amane jabs out her finger in my direction and powerfully declares, something or other. I'd appreciate it if you could explain what it is a little more comprehensibly than that.
だからね、そのユージの言う全員ってのがそもそもの問題なわけなのよ。
I have no idea what this woman is talking about. Does leading a normal student life require the ability to find enjoyment in this sort of vague, meaningless riddle? In that case, I've still got a ways to go.
ほら、全員って言うには一人足りないでしょ？
Oh, so we're talking about Sakaki. We're finally on the same page. I use the word everyone when only 5 of us are here. Amane is suggesting my unconscious exclusion of Sakaki Yumiko from the group suggests a problem in our social dynamic.
そう、こうして休み時間になるとたまに姿を消し、いたとしても本を読んで他人からの干渉をシャットアウト。榊さん、それで本当にいいのって思ったわけ。
She's keeping her distance out of her own free will, so presumably this is how she wants it to be. I don't think it's necessarily something we need to worry about.
これまでそうしてきたことが逆に悪循環だったかもしれないじゃない。
What if you're wrong, though?
もっと積極的にコミュニケーションを取れば変わる可能性もあるとは思わない？
I hadn't thought of it that way, but she might be onto something. Sakaki is a human being after all. Much as her box cutter brandishing mischief may stand out, letting those moments of hostility prejudice all of our interactions with her means giving up on all hope of mutual understanding.
あの女、あれで絶対誘い受けだぜ。構ってほしいくせに周りにチヤホヤされたら迷惑そうに被害者面すんのよさ。多分。
How did we reach that conclusion? Do you have any evidence whatsoever?
知らねえ。テンプレだとそうなってんだよ。
Okay, you can stop talking now.
そうかもしれないけど、私やっぱちょっと怖いな。何かあるとすぐにギラッとくるじゃん、氷の笑みが。
はい、そうですね。特にみちる様はその笑みの対象になるケースが非常に多く、私としても心中穏やかではありません。
やっぱそうなの。私狙い撃ち。
ともかく市場は捨てましょう。でね、私ちょっと考えたんだけど、誰が一番榊さんと仲良くなれるかを競うってのはどうかなって。
I really don't think that's a good idea, Amane. I don't know. Being all friendly to someone that doesn't want to be friendly is definitely not sounding like a good idea. A contest?
どんな風に？
Especially making it into a contest like this.
そうね、例えば手に触れたら1点とか、服とか袖を引っ張ったら3点とか。
Is it my imagination, or is this sounding increasingly fishy? Also, potentially dangerous.
ユミちゃんは髪の毛が綺麗で長いのよさ。
じゃあ触れただけなら1点、引っ張ったら3点、抜いたら5点でどう？切った場合は？
What the fuck?
おお、攻めるわね。じゃあ切ったセンチメートルかける10点でどうかしら。
なかなかの高得点ね。うひょーい、私が本気を出せばユミちゃんの頭を焼け野原みたいにするのなんて造作もないことなのよさ。
Man, I feel like if I was in Yumiko's shoes right now, I don't know. Being the target of something like this is never a good feeling. Amane, what the fuck are you even talking about? Like, what the fuck? Why does she even make this sort of event? Okay, I'm starting to get slightly concerned. Can we slow down for a second here? Are you all seriously going to do this? My voice of restraint falls on deaf ears. The rest of the group is getting more fired up by the second.
榊さんが読んでいる本を取り上げた場合はどうなるのでしょうか。
Sachi, what the fuck? You're making crazier and crazier like ideas here. Don't throw that into the fire.
それじゃあ100点。でもその本を榊さんの頭にかぶせたら1万点。逆に本に榊さんを読ませたらなんと5万点よ。
The fuck are you even talking about, Amane? Oh my god, this actually kind of pisses me off. Probably because I somewhat understand how Yumiko feels. You know, I don't think I've ever been the extrovert type. I'm somewhat a loner myself, so I can somewhat have a mutual bond with her.
すごいです。一発逆転のロマンがありますね。
A book reading Sakaki? What does that even mean? Please explain in detail. Was it a surreal gag? Did Amane trip over her tongue in her increasingly frantic excitement? At this rate, I'll likely never know the truth. The bizarre conversation rolls forward, momentum building by the second. You'd think everyone involved was hitting the peak of a chemical-induced high. It might just be my imagination, but sometimes I think I may have found my way into a fairly deranged excuse for a learning environment.
じゃあ勝負は次の休み時間に一番榊さんと仲良くなれた人の勝ちということで。よっしゃー。やりがいがありますね。負けないわよ。
Do you people actually hate Sakaki or what? The enthusiastic group of conspirators doesn't dignify my perfectly reasonable question with a response. Well, I guess technically it's not our problem, Yuji. Tragically, for Sakaki, the next recess period arrives all too quickly.
いいこと？ユージも榊さんにバラしたりしちゃダメだからね。わかった？
Oh, sorry. Fine.
お兄ちゃんは得点係だから誰かに肩入れするような行為も慎むのよさ。
Fine, fine. Let's get this over with. To be honest, I seriously doubt this is going to get us any closer with Sakaki. But giving the game away would probably make things just as awkward in its own way. And so, I've adopted the typically Japanese policy of watching passively over the situation from a safe distance. Is that really the Japanese policy? But then again, the author is Japanese, so maybe that rings true to some degree. Sakaki Yumiko, the unexplored territory, the final frontier. Seated at her desk, face buried in a thick book, her body language projects a desire to be left alone.
榊さん、ちょっと今いい？
The Suo Amane expedition takes the first daring step into the wilderness. Her approach appears impressively natural. Woman's something of a skilled actress, apparently. Of course, she could probably be putting that talent to better use than this, but...
何？私たちね、榊さんがいない間にちょっと話し合ったんだけど。
何か陰湿な話かしら。
いや、そんなんじゃなくてね。
Sakaki coolly throws out a perceptive question without bothering to look up from her book, prompting a flustered denial from Amane.
私たちこれまで榊さんの気持ちを考えずに接してきたんじゃないかと反省したんです。
Sure, Sachi, what the fuck? Lying straight to her face.
そうそれよ。
どういう意味？
榊さんが望むなら私たちも榊さんの意向を邪魔しないようにあまりお互いに干渉しないようにしようかなって。
そう。例えば？
ねえユミちゃん、今どんな本読んでるのよさ。
Makina tries to snatch away the book with a surprise attack, but is forcefully rebuffed by Sakaki, who's clearly in a state of heightened wariness. Makina clicks her tongue in irrepressible frustration. Damn it, this is so stupid. Are you guys trying to bully her or something? Jesus Christ. She'd been gambling on taking the big points with that opportunity, but sadly, her moment has passed with nothing more than a one-point hand touch.
約1名、今の話の趣旨を全く理解してないみたいだけど。
もうマキナ、あんたまた勝手なことして。
すみません榊さん、マキちゃんが急にあんなことして手をひねったりされてませんか？
だからといってわざわざあなたが手を触る必要があるのかしら。
はい、万が一のこともありますから念のために確認を。手のひらと指は大丈夫ですね。あと手首は と。さすがさっちゃん、他人の失敗を自らの得点として引き込むとは。
油断ならないのよさ。
At least we're not at the point where we're yanking her hair yet. Amane and Makina quietly mutters to each other, careful to keep out of Sakaki's earshot. The palm of Sakaki's hand and her fingers are pretty much a package deal, so I'll award 1 point for the pair. With the addition of the wrist, Sachi's jumped into an early lead with 2 points.
もうさっちゃんってば、さっきの話をしたすぐ後にそんなことしてたら榊さんに変な子みたいに思われちゃうわよ。
それでどうして私をバンバン叩くのよ。
あらごめんなさい、お姉ちゃん間違えてしもたわ。ねえねえ知ってる？向こうのおばちゃんってすぐこうやって人叩くねんな。
そう そう言ってさらに叩くのやめてほしいんだけど。
Thumping, 5 points. And she just executed a 5-hit combo. Making excellent use of her folksy Kansai girl act, Amane seizes 25 points in the blink of an eye. The old lady reference also seems like a clever play, taking advantage of the difference in their ages. But expressing my admiration at this point would likely lead to a new conflict. I exercise discretion and keep my trap shut.
あまねこんな風にバンバン叩いたらユミちゃんに失礼じゃないのよさ。こんな風にねえユミちゃん。
あなたの方がよっぽど失礼よ。
Just when I thought the balance of power had shifted to Amane, Makina uses her established thoughtlessness as cover to launch a new series of attacks, quickly acquiring 40 points. Keeping up with the scoring is beginning to prove challenging in its own right.
あれユミコ、制服のボタン取れてない？あ、いや、なんでもないです。その榊さん。
Sakaki anticipates Michiru's approach and brings it to a premature halt with her powerful glare. The pseudo-tsundere wilts like a potted plant under the desert sun.
確かにボタン取れてますよ。
The fuck is wrong with you people? Seizing the moment once again, Sachi deftly plucks a button from Sakaki's uniform, then holds it out for inspection on the palm of her hand.
そう、ありがとう。
いえ、当然のことですから。
So it's starting to get a bit more brutal, eh? Sakaki's clearly dubious. In comparison, Sachi's beaming from ear to ear. She's got guts to launch a bold attack like that under such risky circumstances. In deference to our dauntless soul of a maid, I mentally award 50 points, bringing Sachi's total to 52. She's regained the lead in a flash.
よろしければすぐにボタンをお付けしますが。
勝手になさい。
はい、お任せください。
ちょっと服を引っ張らないでよ。
申し訳ありません。針を通すもので少しこちらに寄っていただけると。
Sachi launches a follow-up attack. Pulling on Sakaki's school uniform earns her 3 points, bringing her total to 55.
それでなぜあなたは反対側を引っ張るのよ。
のび太分、バランスよくしといた方がいいかと思ったのよさ。迷惑だったか？
はっきりと迷惑だわ。
じゃ、元に戻すな。
内側に引っ張ったって元に戻らないわよ。
Makina adds 2 thugs for a total addition of 6 points. With a score of 46, she's hot on Sachi's heels.
あなたたち、一体何を企んでいるの？
Sakaki's not completely oblivious. By this point, she's clearly realized that she's become the group's plaything. Her voice has a dangerous edge to it.
もう、そんなことないってば。せっかくの綺麗な髪に白髪ができちゃうわよ。
そんなわけないでしょ。ごまかさないで。で、また触らないで。
でもほら枝毛。
嘘もつかないで。
いや、ほんとよ。ここ。
Amane seems to have discovered a genuine split end. Sakaki falters for a moment, obviously thrown off her balance. Devious as Amane may be at times, I don't think this was planned out beforehand.
別に気にしないわ、この程度。
そういうわけにはいかないでしょ。身だしなみくらいしとかないとズボラでみっともない女になっちゃうわよ。
Sakaki attempted to bury the split end in her thick hair, but Amane smoothly intercedes and takes up position behind her. Compared to the clearly unnatural interactions earlier, this is a convincingly normal development. From a neutral perspective, it would appear an action of pure goodwill and friendliness on Amane's part. Accordingly, Sakaki proves unable to offer any firm resistance. 1, 2, 3 touches of the hair. Of course, unbeknownst to her, Amane is racking up points by the second.
うまい。
あまねえめ、いいポジションに入り込んだのよさ。
Having won Sakaki's trust for the moment, Amane no longer has any need to employ risky, aggressive tactics. As she slowly and steadily racks up the points, Makina and Sachi's faces grow increasingly tense with desperation.
何よ。
本当に綺麗な髪だと思って。あ、枝毛どうしよう。抜いちゃってもいいの？あ、私枝毛切り持ってるから。
What the
私が。
fuck? This is so dumb.
わかったわよ。あまねにお願いするからそんなに睨まないでよ。
ありがとう、みちる。
なんで私だけ。
Michiru, it's painful just to watch you. The girl's thoughts are written too plainly on her face, especially when she's up to no good. Oh my god, I can't even keep up a straight face reading this shit. Sakaki's going to shoot her down every time. Perhaps this will inspire her to take a good, long look at herself. On the other extreme, Amani is already coasting into a leisurely victory lap. Combing through Sakaki's hair, she snips out split ends with the scissors she borrowed from Michiru. As she's raking up another 10 points with every centimeter she harvests, she's already well into triple digits. Although Sakaki's keeping her expression blank, her reaction to Amani's fiddling with her hair appears to be something like relaxed boredom. Putting aside the points and the silly contest, it seems like they really might be getting friendlier.
ユミちゃん、決闘しよう決闘。友情が芽生えるまで殴り合おう。
お断りよ。
榊さん、面白そうな本をお持ちですね。よろしければ私にも見せていただけませんか？
Sachi, that's really unnatural, damn it.
不穏だから。いや。
Makina and Sachi try their best to claw back into the fight, but Sakaki is on high alert. Their hands are tied. Tied? Yeah, tied. At this point, it's no exaggeration to say the match is all but decided.
はーい、終わったわ。みちるもハサミありがとう。
Very soon, the chime heralding the end of recess period will sound. At that moment, this battle will be concluded as well. Sitting comfortably on a commanding lead, Amani refrains from touching Sakaki's hair longer than necessary, bringing the grooming session to a natural end. Long since out of the running, Michiru seems destined to end the match with an inept 0 points. As Amani hands over the scissors, they slip through the dejected Michiru's hands and clatter against the floor. As a side note, don't get the idea that Michiru is only careless when depressed. This sort of thing happens all the time.
ごめんごめん。
大丈夫。あったあった。
Dropping down under the desks, Michiru crawls forward a bit in the direction of the group. Picking up her scissors, she immediately begins to stand up.
ちょっとそんなところで立ち上がったの？
As Michiru's head lunges toward her like the world's clumsiest uppercut, Sakaki instinctively reaches out with her hands to defend herself. Of course, in those hands, she's still holding the book she's been protecting all this time. Ah. In the next instant, Sakaki's frozen in place. Her book, knocked violently out of her hands, now rests on top of her head. Apparently unable to process the situation, Sakaki stands perfectly still. Sakaki's face is blank with dazed confusion. The hardcover book lies open across the crown of her head like some bizarre helmet. It's a truly surreal moment. I find myself staring blankly, utterly lost for words. Makina has already burst into an explosion of tactless laughter, and Amane is trying and failing to contain her own amusement. Sachi, on the other hand, gazes with some bitterness at this truly astonishing bottom of the ninth comeback. Jeez, calm down, Sachi. And in that moment, the bell echoes through the classroom, ending the contest. I feel for you, Yumiko.
結果発表。
At the next recess period, we've gathered in the hallway in an attempt to avoid Sakaki's notice.
はーい、というわけで優勝はユージ、発表をお願い。
I mean, you already know who won, damn you. I think you're all well aware, with a final score of 10,000 points, earned by planting Sakaki's book on top of her head, Michiru is our champion.
悪いわね、みんな。
なんか納得いかないのよさ。
全くです。
悲しいわね、負け犬の遠吠え。でも認めなさい。 家庭はどうあれ結果が全て。運も実力のうちってね。
True, true. Michiru may have been completely nonplussed by her victory at first, but upon grasping the situation, she instantly puffed herself up like a peacock. I think it's fairly clear the girl has a lot of backed up resentment.
みんなに勝つチルチルなんてチルチルじゃないのよさ。
はい、みちる様らしくありません。みちる様、バランスを取るためにも次の機会はぜひ負けてくださいませ。
Sachi, you're being incredibly rude right now, you know?
そこまで言う必要ないでしょ。まあまあ、ええやんみんな。
Amani offers the group big, soothing words in full Kansai dialect.
ところでみちる、最後のあれって狙ってたわけじゃないわよね。もちろん偶然でしょ。え？あ、いや、もちろん計算づくに決まってるじゃない。
Michiru's voice rings with bold confidence. Judging from her stilted phrasing, it's most likely a complete lie. But the words nonetheless sound fairly convincing as they echo hollowly down the hallway. At that moment, everyone else freezes in pure shock. With a quick survey of our surroundings, I soon learn why. I don't miss Amane mouthing the word idiot with a slightly smug look on her face either. Her reaction to defeat is to plot revenge, it would seem. Quite a woman.
でもこれで本当にユミコと少しは仲良くなれたのかしら。
No, I think not. Sorry.
なんでよ。多分みちるがもう無事じゃいられないからかな。どういう意味よそれ。
わざとだったのね、あれ。
Oh, sorry. With a familiar ominous sound, the shadowy figure that snuck up behind Michiru mutters a few ice-cold words. The smile on Michiru's face instantly hardens into a rigid grimace. Copious streams of sweat begin to run down her forehead and along her cheeks.
どうして教えてくれなかったのよ。
I mean, Amane is pretty evil. Then again, I think everyone for doing all this shit is pretty evil themselves, not just Amane. At last aware of her plight, Michiru squeezes out a few whimpering words of reproach. I'm ashamed to admit it, but I just noticed a moment ago myself.
黙ってなさいって目で脅されててごめんね。可愛らしく言うな。つかまね。あんた分かってて私に聞いたでしょ。てへ？てへんじゃねえ。
でも安心しました。みちる様にはふさわしい終わり方でほっとしています。
Man, you're evil, Sachi.
ほっとすんな。一見落着なのよさ。なあ、ユミちゃんも。
分かってると思うけど、当然あなたたちも絶対に許さないから。
ほら、ある意味仲良くなったと思わない？
You're such an optimist, Amane.
私はどうしたら？
Well, probably the same thing as the rest of us. Retreat! Double time!
ちょっと待ちなさいよ。
I guess they're having fun at least. Sorry, Yumiko. I still feel your pain.
それはこっちのセリフだわ。
At least they didn't start like, you know, pulling on your hair or anything. That would have been a bit troublesome. This day would go down as the first time in the Academy's history that all of its students were simultaneously absent from a class. But it's said that no one involved dares speak the reason why. How many days did we skip? I thought we were on the 20th? Did we skip like a whole 2 weeks? I think so. Our daily habits become part of who we are. That goes for everything from the natural routines, like washing your face or brushing your teeth, to the obsessive rituals, like always moving your left leg first when you walk. I know I don't run every single day for some conscious reason. The habit's just ingrained into my personality by this point. Doesn't matter how tired I am, doesn't matter if it's pouring rain, doesn't matter if the wind's blowing me all over the road. Even when I get a little sick, I'm out there running like it's a cure for the common cold. Actually, when I get sick, I do exercise more to try to fight it off. And sometimes, surprisingly, it does work. 16 kilometers every morning like clockwork. In 1 month, that's 496. In a year, 5,840. When you work it out, I'm running the distance to Singapore annually, with change to spare. A pretty respectable distance if I do say so myself. Not that I'm particularly aiming to go see the Merlion or try out the famous chicken rice. Ooh, chicken rice sounds delicious right now. My itinerary is strictly local. Every day, I make my way around the outer walls of the school, past the shuttered stores of the shopping district, and by a few poorly maintained Shinto shrines. Every day, I take in the same coastal scenery. It might sound repetitive, but I don't feel any need to change my standard course. Running a familiar road at a familiar pace makes for better training. That said, my route isn't completely set in stone. For example, if I happen to notice an acquaintance nearby, I'll sometimes head in their direction. Not that I chase people around town, of course. I just catch up and offer a brief greeting. It just seems like the polite thing to do, especially when they're a school friend of mine. This morning, as I'm following my standard marathon route around the Academy's campus, I catch sight of Matsushima Michiru. I plan to do 3 quick laps around the school before heading toward the station, but Michiru's appearance gives me pause. Even from a distance, her body language is clearly unusual. From the way she's trudging along the road with her shoulders slumped, you think the force of gravity is operating at double strength in her immediate vicinity. Something seems distinctly off with the girl. Then again, it's still very early in the morning, and I don't want to disturb her privacy. Probably better not to call out to her. As I make my way through the shopping district, I try to think of reasons why Michiru would leave the school at such an early hour. She's a little young to be heading to a public park for radio calisthenics, so what's her objective? When I happen to spot the girl for the second time in this one training session, my curiosity proves harder to suppress. This time, I'm running along the coast when I notice her blonde hair, dead ahead. She's walking slowly up the same road, her head slightly bowed. At this rate, I'll catch her up very soon. When I overtake her, I can just say a quick hello. But Michiru abruptly turns off my route. Before I have the chance to say anything, she's vanished down a side path. Having completed my standard 16 kilometers, I return to the dorm as usual. Usually, I take a quick shower next. But the uncharacteristic melancholy I could see in Michiru even from a distance seems to have left an oddly strong impression on me. It's weighing on my mind. We're classmates, I suppose. Can't hurt to stick my nose in every once in a while. Mumbling something of an excuse to myself, I wipe the sweat from my neck with a towel, then head back outside the school grounds. Have to say though, I don't understand people who dream about living in a house by the sea. The ocean breeze makes everything rust. The moisture makes it hard to dry your laundry. If a seaside town sounds romantic, you've probably never lived in one. Yeah, and also, from what I hear, the water is pretty bad at first. Well, maybe because my brother lived in a new neighborhood, so the water was not that good yet. It's fine now, but the first few weeks of living there, it wasn't that good. Also, the freaking sun, oh my god. It's so hot. Being in a tropical climate also doesn't work, or doesn't help. It's super hot living in a seaside area. Sure, you can come to love your home wherever it may be, but let me assure you, there's nothing idyllic about drunken teenagers partying on the beach for months at a time, especially given their tendency to launch fireworks at midnight. Let's see, I'm pretty sure she was headed this way. Ooh, the background actually moves. That's pretty nice. I find Michiru seated on a high ridge overlooking the sea, aimlessly gazing into the distance. I approach slowly, but she appears oblivious to my presence. I'm consciously taking loud, conspicuous steps, to no apparent effect. The girl's carelessness exceeds my expectations. She's crumbled into herself like a load of laundry long forgotten in the hamper. More than anything else, she looks worn out, exhausted even. Almost like a completely different person. I can hear the sound of waves in the distance. The sunlight is gentle this morning. The weather fair and pleasant. The location isn't bad either. But if this is an early morning picnic, she's forgotten to bring food. Michiru. The fastest way to figure out what she's doing here is probably just to ask her, but she doesn't respond to my voice. What's wrong? When did you get picked up by the garbage truck? In that case, you've got to label yourself as oversized waste. They can't pick up bottle blondes if you just dump one in the curb, I'm afraid. Normally, a remark like this would be met by an indignant, cryptic shriek of Muki as soon as it left my mouth. But today I get nothing. Just what is going on with this girl? I rapidly review and analyze Michiru's recent behavior. Okay, just what do we have here? It doesn't take long for me to reach an extremely plausible hypothesis. All the pieces fall into place. I see. So that's what's going on. Why didn't I realize sooner? Careless. Very careless. Damn. I finally gotten a grasp on the situation. Specifically, the nature of Matsushima Michiru's bodily distress. Michiru, has your dysentery taken a turn for the worse? You should have told me. Why suffer in silence? Okay, first order of business. I need to look at your stool to confirm the progression of the disease. Hurry up. Out with it. When I grab Michiru's shoulders with both hands and begin shaking her vigorously, there's finally a response. I was half convinced she had fainted sitting up, but things don't seem to be quite that serious. Good question. Why am I here? What do you think? Michiru may have recognized my presence, but her normal bristly attitude is notable by its absence. It's not just that her armor has fallen off. It feels as though she isn't aware of her own state of vulnerability. Why am I here? That would be because I came here, therefore here I am. Understood? Either way, that's of little importance at the moment. Produce a stool sample at once. Cut the back talk, maggot. You're the one who ate contaminated food. Here I am, kindly offering to examine your stool as a favor to my classmate. And this is your attitude? Evacuate your bowels at once. That sounds disgusting, Yuji. What's that supposed to mean? Are you implying my mental picture of you is fundamentally flawed? I picture you in the mountains, discovering colorful toadstools. You try to shriek, "Oh my god, what's this?" It's like so cute. But before the "so" is out of your mouth, you stuffed it full of mushrooms. You're dead seconds later. Tell me, what kind of image do you think your acquaintances have of you? If you don't want to find one, why are you chasing it in the first place? Sadly, I find your explanation incoherent. And that image of you lying dead in the forest with mushrooms spilling out of your mouth doesn't seem to be going anywhere. My apologies. Certainly, my impression of Michiru up to today has been pretty similar to her description. A constantly cheerful idiot girl. But today, she's got none of the usual vigor, and her tsundere act has all but disappeared. When women act differently from normal, the most likely cause is that time of the month. Yuji, you're being super sexist, damn it! But we're dealing with a girl going through a difficult age. One must put these questions delicately, or it'll be awkward to answer. I lower my voice and beckon Michiru closer with my hand. Michiru. Oh, sorry. Michiru draws her face near. I put the matter to her in the most gentlemanly way I know how. Are you menstruating? I thought it would be better than shouting, but it seems our opinions differ.
大きな声でも小さな声でも普通は女の子にそんなこと言わないでしょ。
I'm simply trying to understand the situation. Is it iron deficiency then? That won't just give you anemia, you know? Makes it easier to catch colds as well. There's no reason to stuff yourself with vitamin C like an idiot if you forget to eat anything else. You need balance, understand? Balance.
そんなんじゃないわよ。違うもん。具合が悪いとかじゃないの。
So it's not anemia, not menstruation, and not a nutritional deficiency. I'm out of ideas. What's actually going on here?
それはそうな。
It's fine. You can give it to me straight. I've been in the field long enough for a long time, you know? Field a long time, you know? You're probably not going to shock me.
それはね、あのね。
Yes? Go on. What is it?
海を見てたの。
Ah, looking at... Hmm? Say what?
だから海を見てたのよ。
The sea? Michiru gives a quick embarrassed nod, her eyes downcast. Looking at the sea, I ruminate carefully on these words. Just what hidden meaning lurks inside this brief, cryptic cipher of a sentence? I know of a certain Japanese organization that refers to its maneuvering grounds as the mountains. Alright, so what would the sea indicate? Nothing comes to mind. Sorry, Michiru. When you say the sea, what exactly are you referring to?
海は海でしょ。
The sea is the sea, which would make looking the keyword, eh? I'd assume you were indicating some sort of special surveillance mission. Was I missing some crucial context?
はい。いやあのね、単純に海を見てたのよ。意味なんてないよ。
Excuse me? You were literally just looking at the ocean.
うん。
Explain yourself. I'm baffled. You were staring at a giant saltwater puddle for no reason whatsoever.
そうよ。何か問題でもあるの？
Of course there is. The first and biggest problem is that you don't see anything wrong with it. Listen carefully. Time is not an infinite resource. You only get so much. Says the guy who goes to the roof sometimes and look at the sky. I don't want to hear that from you, Yuji. Our lives are brief. How to make use of the precious time we're given is an absolutely essential problem. It's one thing if you're never given the opportunity to make your own choices. Some people spend their lives following orders from others. If that's the only path open to you, then you just have to deal with it as best you can. But you, my friend, have the good fortune to be free, and you're choosing to use your time staring at the sea for no reason at all? I find that extremely hard to understand. As your classmate, I request that you produce an acceptable reason for looking at the ocean. Understood? Yeah, I really don't want to hear this from you, Yuji.
あのさ、難しく考えすぎじゃない？綺麗だなーって思って、ただ海を見てただけじゃない。それでよくない？特別な理由がどうしても必要なの？
Can I conceive of this as a rest and relaxation period then? I don't think I can accept it unless there's some sort of concrete meaning to your actions.
じゃあそれでいいわよ。海を見てリラックスしてたのよ。
I see. Have to say, you didn't really seem to be enjoying it much.
そんなことないよ。
Michiru squints her eyes against the sea breeze. Her expression belies her words. This explanation seems dubious at best. But then again, I suppose it was foolish of me to expect any coherent logical basis for this woman's behavior.
風が気持ちいい。
We stand below the vivid, clear summer sky, utterly wasting our time. If things are going to continue along these lines, it'd be more productive to return to the dorm now and just read for a while. Michiru, my friend, have you considered the possibility that this abnormal desire to view the ocean is the product of some sort of bacterial infection in your brain?
考えられません。
Then perhaps there's a kappa in your family tree. No, wait, they live in rivers. Damn. What's this? Let me see your head for a second.
え？何？
Shut your mouth and present me your cranium. Don't give me any trouble.
だってもしかして 頭にお皿。
I pull Michiru's head toward me and quickly pluck out a single hair. Among her massive, thoroughly bleached blonde locks, there was a single pure black strand.
いった。終わった。お皿割った。
What? Did the Kappa ancestor ring any bells? Not to worry though, nothing's broken. I just pulled out a black hair for you. Kind of stands out when it's surrounded by a sea of blonde. No matter how much effort you put in, you're probably going to miss a few hairs like this. Unless you have someone else take a look for you.
そうなんだ。ありがとう。
You've got some cucumber bits around your mouth, by the way.
ああ、そんな冗談ばっかり言ってないで。幼児も見てみなよ、海を。
I'll pass. Why bother looking at it? It's the same as it was yesterday. I think the ocean will get along just fine even if I don't sit around staring at it.
いいから見てみなよ。ほら。
I give in to her pestering and stare out the ocean. As expected, there have been no dramatic developments since the last time I saw it.
なんかさ、海って大きいよね。
The sea may be the same as always, but Michiru is clearly different today. The tone of her voice is strange. True enough, 70% of Earth is covered in oceans. Huge is a relative concept, but I think this would qualify by the more typical standards of comparison.
そんな風に言うと思ったんだ。面白いね。
Michiru laughs, inexplicably amused by my simple statement of fact. But in the next moment, that unusually serious expression is back on her face.
あのね、私こう思うんだ。この海に比べたら人間ってちっぽけな存在だよね。
They are, yes?
この大きな海を見てると、私の悩みなんてちっぽけすぎて笑えてきちゃうんじゃないかなって。
You're being...
そう思うの。
That is very big hyperbole. But yes, that is also true. Michiru brazenly fires off a set of lines you can normally only hear the likes of in the corniest of decades old, made-for-TV teenage drama fests. If she's not intentionally quoting something, this is about as hackneyed... What is that word? And cliched as it gets.
今私結構いいこと言ったんじゃね？
What's more, she's not remotely sheepish about her tried words. Fascinating. Maybe I'll take a look inside her head and see how the machinery works. She's clearly got a few screws loose already, so it should pop open easily enough. Yeah, maybe it was. But in the end, I decide to affirm her statement. It's a fact that humans are only one part of the greater whole of nature. It might be cliche to reflect on the transitory nature of our existence, but that doesn't make it any less valid a thought.
でしょ？そうでしょ？にひひ、いいこと言ったよね。ごほん、私の
That doesn't mean you need to repeat it. Once was plenty.
何よ、もう言わせてよね。私の悩みなんてちっぽけなものよね。
What's so funny though? Michiru's clearly gotten carried away. It might have been a mistake to give her ego a boost like that. In the end, she's nothing more than an idiot. Can't have her getting too satisfied with herself. Too exasperated even to sigh, I send Michiru an expressive glare. Not that I'm confident she'll be able to see the cold pity in my eyes.
ちょっと何見てるの？何？
Nothing. Nothing at all.
なんでもないのに見るとか意味わか
Oh. It looks like the girl has had a sudden flash of insight. Perhaps she's finally become aware of her own foolishness.
そういう意味じゃないからね。ちっぽけな悩みってそういうことじゃないもん。
What? As Michiru babbles on, she moves her arms to hide her tiny chest from view. Really? Look, maggot, I have no interest in your pitiful excuse for a rack.
何よ、見てたじゃない。チームで見てたでしょ。それに私別におおむねちっぽけじゃないもん。あるもん。
a nice body is a term we might use to describe Sayamane. By any reasonable standard, your breasts are tragically underdeveloped. My condolences. I don't know, I think her body is okay.
ちょっとちょっとなんだよ残念じゃないよ全然残念じゃないもんマキナの方があれだもん
That girl's in a whole different category. Are you really happy about beating a complete outlier?
嬉しくなちょっと嬉しい
The corners of Michiru's mouth rise ever so slightly, probably recalling Makina's washboard of a chest and mentally comparing it to her own. What a petty human being. Have you no pride, woman? You might as well gloat about handling your chopsticks better than some tourists from France.
じゃあね私お胸大きいもん大きいんだってば大きいって言いなさいよね
They're big.
ミチル様のお胸はとっても大きいですって言いなさいよ
Michiru-sama's breasts are very large indeed.
なんかムカつく
Apparently my complete lack of sincerity got across to you. But anyway, sounds like you've cheered up a little.
だから最初から元気だって言ってるでしょ私はいつも私なのは
The black cat from the other day appears from somewhere or other. Purring loudly, it settles up to Michiru and aggressively rubs up against her leg. I see. So you were searching for a black cat rather than a blue bird.
そういうわけじゃないんだからねたまたまですよっていうかこの猫初めて見るなへえこんなところに猫がいるとはね奇遇だなにゃ奇遇
What was this cat's name again? Something like...
名前なんてないんじゃない知らないな
That's right, it's Ramble.
猫にゃですやめてよねそんな変な名前でこの子のこと呼ぶのあ
Just as I thought. It's the same animal that was at the school before, isn't it? Didn't know it was your pet.
だから違いますこんな猫知らないもん
What, Rommel isn't an acquaintance of yours?
だから猫にゃだって言ってるで知らんな
You dropped something. Allow me.
いやいいです拾わんといて
A carton of milk, eh? It's a bit unexpected.
私が牛乳大好きなの知らなかった確かにみんなの前では一度も飲んだことないけど大好きでいつも飲んでるのよみんなの前では一瞬たりともそんな素振り見せたことはないけどね
I see. That's good to hear. If by any chance you'd been giving milk to the cat, I would have had to stop you.
なんで
No worries. Since you're the one drinking it, there's no problem. Enjoy.
これは私のだから問題ないのよねでもなんでねえ教えなさいよね
Alright, let me break it down for you. Giving a cat milk can upset its stomach badly. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. If you're that desperate to give it some, you need to dilute the milk with water first.
別にどうしても与えたいわけじゃないもん
As soon as the words are out of her mouth, Michiru's glancing restlessly around the area. What's wrong? Looking for a source of water by any chance?
違います水を探していませんなんでもないのバカぐるぐるにゃー
The black cat wraps itself around Michiru's leg like a fussy boa constrictor, then starts to rub the corner of his jaw roughly against her ankle. Looks like it's trying to mark her with its scent. Seems like you pretty much tamed the animal. One could almost get the mistaken impression that he's begging for the milk you always give him.
そんなことないです猫にゃこのどこの馬の骨ともわからぬ猫つまり馬猫は懐いてきてません
You sure about that? Rommel seems awfully...
だから猫にゃいや馬ですこの猫は馬です
I think Uma is like a horse or something. I don't know why they translate it as whole. I don't know. No, it isn't. It's clearly a cat.
そんなのわかってるわよもう
Apparently giving up on its request for milk, the feline in question sinks to the ground at Michiru's feet and rolls itself up into a ball. Within seconds, it closes its eyes and falls fast asleep. You must have been feeding this thing for quite a while for it to trust you this much.
うるさいわね。別に頻繁に通って餌付けなんてしてないんだからね。これは赤の他人の猫の馬なのよ。つまり赤い馬なの。だから最終的には関飛ばってことなの。
I don't know what they were trying to do with that sentence, really. I was trying to hear it in Japanese, but I'm like, what sort of what is it? Wordplay are they trying to do? I have no idea. It's too advanced for me. Even in English, I have no idea what this is referencing to. What the fuck? Sakura Blue? Clearly she doesn't say anything of the sort. Could you please try to calm down a bit? You have a bad habit of firing off unintelligible gibberish when you get worked up.
じゃあ馬を撫でて落ち着きます。撫で撫で。
Michiru reaches down and scratches the neck of the defenseless cat with the tip of her fingers. The animal moves its head in time with her strokes in evident pleasure, then begins to lick at the pink pads on its paws. The cat seems so completely and blissfully relaxed that I half expect it to melt into a contented puddle. Just watching it, I can feel some of the stiffness in my shoulders begin to lighten. It's not good to carelessly let your guard down, but keeping up a state of constant tension is an even worse idea. After a brief glance around the area, I decide to take a moment of rest. Alright, I think I'll join him down there for a while. I drop myself to the ground next to Michiru. Flustered, she grabs at her skirt and holds it close, preventing any potential visual access to the interior. Don't be an idiot. I don't have any ulterior motive. You worry about the stupidest things.
下心がなくても見えたら困るでしょ。
Like what? A bit of cloth? Nothing worth worrying about. Michiru is apparently worried about disturbing the cat now slumbering at her feet, as she's avoiding any large movements. Either way, I truly don't have any secret plans involving her underwear. I just wanted to sprawl out on the grass and think about nothing at all for a while.
いいから、あんまりこっち見ないでよね。
It's been a long time since I've laid myself down on the ground and gazed blankly up into the sky like this. Every once in a while, I do spend some time gazing at the clouds, but I tend to be thinking things over while I do so. But as Michiru says, just looking for no particular reason isn't bad in its own way. The vault of blue above me hasn't changed. It looks just as it did when I was a child. I thought the clouds might seem a little closer by now, but naturally, they're the same as they've always been. My perspective may be a meter or so higher when I stand, but that's completely insignificant on this scale. I can stretch my hand all I want, but it'll never reach the clouds. We're all but changed to the dirt beneath our feet. I see. Not a bad view. Michiru begins to speak, her tone somewhat troubled.
私は空はちょっと怖いんだ。特に夜の空。月が浮かんでいるのを見てると、それが月じゃなくて大きな穴に見えてくるの。
Looks like a giant hole, she said, because I don't know what the hell a gash is. So she said it's like a giant hole.
空はすんごくでっかい蓋で、そこにある空気穴が月。そう考えると、箱の中に閉じ込められた気になって息苦しくなる。
That's an interesting perspective. I've heard of people who get disturbed by the way the moon always seems to follow you around, but the world as a giant box angle is new to me.
私にはそう見えるの。だから、夜は空を見上げない。怖くなるし、寂しくなる。私が私じゃないみたいになる。
I think I understand. You don't look at the night sky in order to prevent yourself from transforming into a wolf, right? I imagine that would be troublesome.
いっそその方が気が楽だわ。狼でもドラキュラでも構わない。銀の銃弾で撃ち抜いてほしい。狙うのはにゃー。あ、ごめんね猫に。お腹空いたのかな。それとも眠いのかにゃ。
Well, this weather really does make you want to take a siesta. What the hell is a siesta? That said, I haven't even eaten breakfast yet, so the timing is a bit off.
ねえユージ、変なこと聞くけど変に思わないでね。
No worries on that front. I've had you down as exceptionally weird for a long time now.
あのさ、人って死んだらどうなるの？
What?
待って、起き上がらないで。そのまま寝転がって聞いて、たわいもない話として。
If possible, I'd like to talk about this while observing her face. But if Michiru-sama desires otherwise, I can do naught but obey. I ease myself back onto the grass and listen to her voice.
例えば、ドラキュラは太陽の光で灰になって消えておしまいでしょ？だったら人間は死んだらどうなるの？
Are we talking about religious ideology here? Is that how you say that word? Ideology? I don't know how to say that word. You want to hear something about a final moral judgment?
そういうんじゃない。もっと普通に死んだらどうなっちゃうの？
Let's see. I haven't died yet, so I can't speak much with authority. But probably nothing.
何もないってどういう状態？無ってこと？
If you're imagining floating naked in a pure white space, I think you're slightly off. The way I picture it, it's just like going to sleep and then never waking up again.
そっか。眠って起きないのか。
Everyone else will probably be running around worrying about the funeral, but what do you care? Of course, people die in many different ways, but in the end, we're all taking a never-ending nap.
そっか。そうなんだ。意外と楽なのかもね。
Depends on how you look at it. Anyway, heaven and hell are just the remnants of an archaic moral system. Nobody really takes that stuff seriously anymore. Maybe in Japan, Yuji, but you'd be surprised how different it is in every other part of the world. This might be a pretty normal thing here or there in Japan. I guess that's why they can put this like here, nonchalantly. Don't see many people going around walking on water or making magical wine out of it. Of course, it seems God does appear before the chosen few every once in a while. Most often to tell them they need to start up a political campaign. Michiru begins to ask something, but stops before the words leave her mouth. After a moment of silence, she starts to speak again. I can't tell whether it's the continuation of her dangling sentence or a completely new topic.
もし私が死んだら、ここに埋めてほしい。
You're getting a bit ahead of yourself there. Or do you plan to die anytime soon?
ないよ。ないけど、もしもの話。だって、ここは景色がすごく綺麗じゃない？ここから世界中が見渡せそうだもん。こんな場所で眠れるんだったら幸せ。
To be honest, I'm a little displeased to hear a perfectly healthy person scouting out locations for their tomb.
そう固いこと言わないの。ねえ、その大役をユージに任せてあげる。ここにお墓作って。
You want me to dig a hole and bury you in it? Look, you can't just go making a grave wherever you please. You understand that?
いいの。細かいことはいいからそうしなさい。
The cat's eyes shoot open at the sound of Michiru's shout. Startled, it bounds away like a spring, vanishing in the blink of an eye. I slowly raise my upper body off the ground, brushing off the grass clinging to my clothes.
まったく、あんたにはマロンがないのよ、マロンが。
Fuck is Maron? Why are we talking about lettuce?
栗の話なんてしてないでしょ。いいよ、ふざけてんの？猫にゃんも逃げちゃったし。まあ、栗とか言うからお腹空いちゃったじゃない。さあ、それじゃあ朝ごはんでも食べに行くわよ。そこのあんた、私が一緒に食べてあげてもいいわよ。
Michiru's expression has returned to the norm. It's as though the conversation just now never happened. Well, if you're hungry, I guess I can split my beans with you.
豆相変わらず貧相な食生活してるわね。
Says the girl who's always filling up on the convenience store box lunches packed full of preservatives.
さいわね。それじゃあ今からどっちが先に学校戻るか競争負けたらジュースとかおごれるよいな。
Our little conversation about death took me by surprise, honestly. Not what you'd expect from a random chat with your classmate, but life is always shadowed by death. The only question is whether you're aware of its presence at your side. Sometimes a man who looked perfectly healthy in the morning goes to sleep and never opens his eyes again. Death can come at any time, and once it does, it's too late to regret the things you've left undone. True enough? Morbidity isn't productive, but sometimes we should remember that nothing lasts forever. Michiru's words might be significant in their way. Michiru calls me from some distance away. Carefree girl. I'll catch up to her in seconds if that's the extent of her head start. I begin to walk slowly, trying to decide what sort of drink I'll have her buy me. And I think I'm going to end the episode right here. I don't know what to think about Michiru's scenes. Maybe when I was younger, I was never really thinking too much about death and all that, so it was a bit interesting at the time when I was reading it. But maybe also because I know what happens in her route now, so it feels like the significance of what she's saying is just not there. I don't know, I don't feel... I actually feel like I appreciate Michiru more as a character when she's doing the whole tsundere routine thing than when she's actually being serious. But then again, maybe she also knows that herself, that's why she's doing that shit. I don't know. I mean, you can only guess what a character is thinking, right? You can't really know 100% unless you talk to the author. And if the, you know, if what he's writing is actually conveyed or not into the character. But alright, I think this is a good ending point. I'm going to save the game, call it a day. And as usual, I already forgot to tell you guys to like and subscribe, so there you go. The always awkward like and subscribe thing at the end of the episode. So yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I will see you guys next time. Peace out.